studio. She's got dials and switches, and she knows where the bodies are buried. She's with us too. And tonight's guest is really, really awesome. I've been looking forward to uh, Jecca Blac. She owns Jecca Blac, which is a vegan cosmetic company that is designed for the male. So if you're trans, if you're cross-dresser, and you want something, this is something designed for you. So hello, Jecca. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Oh, we're doing well. This is just really wonderful. And I love the idea of something that is cross-dress centric, something that is to our particular culture. Sure. I mean, I'm like a lot of other cross-dressers. I try to sneak into some of the cosmetic companies and whatever to buy something. And always for my wife, but does that color look good on me? Or whatever. It's really hard and it's embarrassing because we have a lot of crossers haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
There's some of us that are very lucky to have women in our lives that'll really help us out. But it's a big maze. It's a big maze. And it's hard to transfer. Can you give us an idea, or you can talk to us on how you got this together? What was that light bulb moment that came on to you that, geez, there's a need here? Tell us about that moment, and then go forward if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So I started by being a makeup artist in film and TV, and then used to do freelance makeup on the side for people that were kind of wanting makeup lessons. And because I specialized in like prosthetics side of makeup, I was more interested in like kind of heavier makeup, I guess. So with my portfolio online, people that were cross-dressing started to get in touch with me. Some people were cross-dressing, some people were trans, just a whole load of different people started getting in touch with me to do makeup lessons. So, and one of the barriers that they had is obviously that they were very new to makeup and they didn't know where to start. Like you were saying, it's like a maze. So people would come to me for lessons, and I started in a studio that acted as a safe space studio, because one of the major things was that people were doing it in secret, and they weren't wanting to obviously be in a store or kind of in public. So they wanted somewhere that they could go and was trusted in the community. So that's what I built. I had a good reputation to offer this kind of service where it was a place where you could come and you could be yourself, basically. So that's how it started, Jecca Blac. And then I had lots of different clients. And then I used to go into a male prison, and help with people that were transitioning inside prison with makeup as well. So after a while, I had like a whole spectrum of different customers that, like the prison, and then my safe space studio, but just people from all walks of life. So then what happened was it went from a service, which was obviously the makeup lessons, and then lots of my customers started obviously I spent a lot of time with customers, because you do, obviously it's like going to the hairdressers and things like that. You spend quality time with one-to-one hours with people, right? And you get to know them as clients. And lots of my clients had feedback that they didn't feel comfortable going into stores. They didn't feel like they were overlooked basically by people that were the kind of sales assistants, or right down to actually the brands themselves weren't actually seeing this as a customer. Like they weren't providing products, they were offering solutions. Sometimes, for example, beard shadow coverage. They weren't providing, they just weren't being reflected on kind of, campaigns and things like that. They weren't being seen. So that was why we started to build the product range. And then we went into a service-based business, into a brand. So that was kind of the change over there. So I guess the light bulb moment that you said was maybe around that period of time, when I realized that actually it started off quite as a small thing that I would do as a freelance makeup artist. And then it went obviously full time. And then it kind of started going a bit bigger than that. And that's when we started building the brand. So, yeah.
So so Jecca Blac is a play on Jessica Blackler,
Yeah,
and so it started with the Jecca Blac Studios, but now I understand that you're involved with like L'Oreal Innovations. Like it's starting
yeah,
to become a thing. So how has
yeah.
it really progressed into you're becoming a real mainstream brand, or at least
Yeah.
affiliate with mainstream brands?
Yeah. So I started kind of building the products. We launched the first product, and because of our different offering with how we create products, the way that we like kind of are as a makeup brand, and what we focus on, the kind of mission that we have, this mission that we're on, is different, right? So L'Oreal took an interest in that because it's something that they haven't necessarily looked at themselves. And this is kind of back a few years ago. So even the beauty industry then was a bit different. Lots of people were still getting their heads around being unisex, let alone being gender free. It's a whole different concept, right? So that's when they took us on, and we're obviously still like a independent beauty brand, but we work with them and they help us with marketing, product development, and things like that. And then we stock in. That's when we went on to like retailers, and they helped us with distribution, and we're in Walmart and places that stock our products as well.
So it's kind of like, to me, like how the beer brands, you have these microbreweries that are now being affiliated with like, what is it? Sam Adams is actually owned by Bush, I think, or something like that. But so it's like they're your parent company, and then but you are
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. They actually we're just part of a program. No, we're still independent, so we're still
okay.
no, we're not owned or by them at all. But they kind of just help us as like a support, because for them, their motive is that they are able to understand the market more for what smaller brands are doing, right, and also for their employees that work with us to have something that's like more entrepreneurial led, and rather than I guess what they deal with in the larger kind of brand corporate structure.
That's really amazing. So you still have creative control.
Of course, yeah. No, it's not owned by L'Oreal. No, no. It's far from. But yeah, no, it's still run by myself, and we have investors, but not
Sure.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, then what is your position in the company? Do we call you the CEO or?
I prefer founder.
Yeah,
founder. Yeah. So yeah.
What is that? The women boss. So I want to talk about you kind of growing with your products little bit by little bit, and you really kind of started, with baby steps. So one of the big kind of featured products is your Sculpt and Soften. And so Sculpt and Soften only comes in these 3 colors. So it kind of, when I'm looking at it, you're like, oh, does that work for me? How does that work for me? It's only 3 colors, but it is actually a really important product for trans and cross dressers. So I guess I want you to kind of explain what that is.
Yeah, so our 2 main products for this community is the Sculpt and Soften palette, and the reason it only comes in 3 shades is because it's a contouring palette, right? So it's actually only needing to match the shadow and the highlight of your face. It's not meant to match your skin tone. So that's why most contouring palettes only will ever come in light, medium, and dark. Maybe some brands will do very light, medium, dark, very dark, or however, but it would never be more than 5 shades. So we started with 3 shades. We felt that this covered the kind of spectrum of our other shade ranges, right? So the Correct Conceal, for example, comes in 6 shades. So the Sculpt and Soften basically was designed because lots of my clients wanted to feminize their face. This was something that they kind of always asked for when I was doing the makeup lessons. And obviously the technique contouring and highlighting is what obviously helps with when feminizing the face. And it's a product that was designed from the back of obviously what my clients wanted. And what makes this product different is that it comes with a how-to guide that actually comes in the palette. So the palette is a cream palette, right? It comes with 2 shades, a sculpt and a soften that are used for highlighting. And then in the pack, then you have a 34 how-to guide. And this how-to guide was written by myself, and it teaches you like the step-by-step on how to create all types of contouring. Because I guess for me, what what I had to try and always use to explain to clients is that obviously contouring is unique to everyone's face. Everyone has a different face, so it's difficult sometimes to say this is what you need to do. And sometimes on video it's even difficult because you're again not used to try and watch video sometimes and put out your own face is really difficult. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's if you have a booklet in front of you and you've got a step by step, then you can kind of pick and choose what suits you. So for example, in this book, there are sections about how to contour your nose. Obviously, this isn't needed for everyone, but if it is, then it's in there. So people then are having a better understanding of contouring, and hopefully this booklet will help explain the product, explain how to use it, but most importantly, build confidence with how to do this technique, because it's a technique that came from the film industry, and it was only mainstream. People were only doing it a few years ago on their own face, so it's actually quite a technique. It's and it can go wrong quite easily. So this is why we built this product. So yes, it's really good. And then the Correct to Conceal is our bestseller, and it was our first product, and this is our bestseller still. And it's a palette that was designed to cover the beard shadow. So there's 2 cream products in the palette, and can be covering the beard shadow, but also can be used for under eye darkness, acne, and all over the base. So yeah.
Yep. On that line, because some correction palettes have, like a green and a pink and a yellow, and how is your product able to give that same performance but with only the one correct?
So the green is for acne, it's for redness, right? The yellow is for like gray undertones, so maybe someone that has like grayness around the face. These are very, very kind of these aren't like generic color correctors. So we're not replacing this. Our color corrector isn't replacing those, right? That may be an additional product that you will need, but the color corrector that we provide is the peach, depending on your shade. So it goes from peach to more of an orange. So the peach color corrects the blue undertone of the skin, which is normally under the eye area and beard shadow. And so, for example, with myself, I use 3.0. So beard shadow myself would be blue, right? Because it's like the undertone, and then my under eye is blue. So that is the perfect shade for the peach is the perfect shade to kind of color correct that. And then the concealer that comes next to it goes on top of the color corrector. So yeah.
And then, so the concealer is for like a regular concealer, like an all over concealer, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it is, but it's not, because like basically what I found is that clients, they needed something that was like a concealer that could go all over this area. Whereas a regular concealer is actually designed for small areas of the face. So whether it be a spot or like under eye, so small areas, whereas this needs to go across basically half of the face and down the neck.
Right.
So this is why the product was designed in a palette, and one that can be used, more can be used, right? Whereas concealers contain tiny things and you couldn't possibly put that all over your face. So the product's been designed and formulated to layer as well. So kind of layers on top. So you can actually use this product to cover a beard shadow because it layers, but then you can use this product as well to go across the whole of your face, because actually it's a medium coverage. So it can be suitable as an alternative to foundation. So this is because the part that was kind of one of the many things I want to achieve with this product is that actually I want someone to be able to use this and have confidence just to use this and not feel like they have to buy this and that and this. This is the product you need to cover the whole of your base and beard shadows. So
and yeah. I guess that's why I'm kind of saying it the wrong way, because even though it is a concealer, you know, I guess I'm saying like foundation, but really, so a foundation is all over, and where yes, like a spot concealer would conceal a blemish or a certain area. So I think that's really interesting. And you recommend do you recommend that people use a brush to put on your products?
Yeah, brush, a foundation brush, not a flat foundation brush, a blendable foundation brush. Sorry?
What does that mean? What's a blendable foundation brush?
Yeah, like, you know, like, sorry, yeah. The round ones, you know, like the more blendable ones, the round ones. Like, and I've got like a, so I don't know, do you have Real Technique there in the US? Do you have that? No, it's a brand. No, it's
I don't know.
It's blendable. Yeah. Okay. It's just like a more of a fluffy, you know, foundation brush. The kind of original traditional foundation brush is a flat top, is a flat brush, right? Those aren't. I don't like those. So not that. And the other foundation brush, which is more of a, like a blendable top, is what we suggest.
Not a blunt flat.
Yeah. No, more the one that you can blend into the skin, because if you think about it, you're applying a cream, so you need to like blend it in nicely. Or a beauty blender, which actually works really well with that product. So, and that I think is great. If people are starting out, they can get a beauty blender and they can use it across, you know, putting the correct concealer on or any cream product. I think beauty blenders are great like that. So, because lots of my clients, like, they're just starting out, and you don't want to just buy all these brushes, you know, trying to avoid that. So just a beauty blender is great for that.
I think that's pretty amazing, because that is one of the big concerns that we find with cross-dressers, is that either they don't have much, you know, and so they're concerned about too much, and they need to figure out how to do it on a budget, or they've gone bananas and they too much in that what we call the pink fog, and now they're like, you know, what's really working for me and not, and I went a little crazy, and I like that you're getting a lot more from just the simple few products.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
Like the products in your the pots. I think that's pretty cool too, that they are multitasking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? And then I want to kind of get into some more deeper, not makeup-y stuff, but
yeah, of course. So the packs being, so the palettes, obviously you can use them obviously for the face, and then do we have the play pots? Is that what you're referring to? The kind of round,
for your lips or your cheeks or your eyes.
Yeah, so they're a recent launch, and it's gone actually really well. So they launched last month, and in August, and the reason for that is because I again would have customers, and we still very much work with my focus group. My customers kind of work now as a focus group that I had back in the day, right? And obviously, you know, they've come on the journey with us, and we've kept maybe in touch with maybe say 20 of them, and then we kind of keep in touch with them. Anyway, the one of the products that came out of kind of speaking with customers is that lots of people starting out are just so confused with the eye makeup, right? And like eyeshadow, and then lips, and then and then like lips, and then cheeks, and then like you said, people go and spend loads. But as a makeup artist and understanding how these things are formulated, I know that, you know, I, for example, use lipstick on my cheeks, and you build confidence with something, right? So you kind of start using it all over. So the reason behind the play pots was to bring a product to show customers that you can actually just use the one product to give a tint on eyes, lips, and cheeks, and it works perfectly well. And in fact, if you just have the one, it's easier to work with because you don't have to worry about it matching. Because lots of people actually used to really get worried about things matching, and I would say, like, don't worry, it's not really a thing in makeup. Like, as in, obviously, maybe a red lipstick won't look great with a red eye, or I don't know, like, who knows, off the top of my head, maybe some things don't look great together. But I would say that this would just be easier because you just have the one product, it goes on your eyes, lips, and cheeks, and you don't have to worry about it being difficult. And it's a cream product, so it blends. So you have to literally just get onto the product and just swipe it onto your eye, gives you the pop of color you need. Lips, the same, and then cheeks, just do that, and then just like literally wipe it away and it gives you the tint. So they're really great for that.
Awesome.
You know, I would like to say real quick that a lot of I'm in the cross-dress side of things, and a lot of men out there, we struggle really hard with how to do this and that. And some people are great. Some guys are they are really into it. And I know some of these guys are awesome. And the women go to them for lessons. But for a lot of us, it's this big mystery. And we wind up buying this and buying that. We got a whole house load of stuff that we don't use. We don't know how to use it. They give us a real quick, do this, that at the store. And you're providing a few products that will work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, don't get into all that other stuff. Just focus here. You provide the instructions on how to do it, which makes it so much easier for us. And, you know, from my point of view, for me, it's a godsend. Okay.
Thanks.
That's what I think a lot of us need, you know. And, you know, there's a lot of men out there that I'm sure you're aware that they do things in private, and so they try to do things alone, and they're afraid to tell anyone, and they get messed up and frustrated, and what's wrong with me? And so you're relieving a lot of the stress, especially the cross-dressers that we have, and I think that is just totally wonderful. I thank you for that.
Thank you.
I know Melissa's got another question here.
Me? Or
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I'm getting my... Anyway.
So I wanted to get a little more into that you are a socially conscious brand, and what you do as a brand, because not only you are vegan, but what you're doing as a brand to be more socially aware about self-expression and identity and how you like that, I guess.
Okay, so we launched. So we kind of so we launched 2018, and then my aim was to bring kind of the community together by the love of makeup and stuff, and I wanted to always organize kind of offline events, because there's a lot of online stuff that goes on. There's lots of great platforms and things like that, and groups, but the offline doesn't happen enough. And like you were saying, like a lot of people do it alone, and maybe some aren't ready to come offline. Some people aren't even ready to go online, but some people that have the more confidence maybe to go and meet others. I think it's important to meet offline. So back before COVID, we planned to do lots of different events. And obviously we're a London-based business, so we wanted to start here. So earlier on this year, we launched Trans Festival. So this is thankfully just before actually everything started going on to lockdown, but it happened in February. And that's our LGBT History Month here in the UK. It's in February. So we kind of did it with that in mind. And it was an event that we hosted in Covent Garden in London, it's in the city, in Central, and had people come. And it was basically an event for people to meet and socialize, but there were panel discussions, and it was a great way to actually educate yourself. It wasn't really about beauty, obviously. It was more about the trans community. So there were some great speakers there, from people from healthcare to people talking about their own experiences with transitioning. So it was really great. And then there was another side of the kind of venue that had more like stalls, and so like Jecca obviously was there, but then we had like some lingerie and brands that basically are really trying to support the community as well. And it was just so lovely to see the community actually come together and people to walk away and feel like they've met someone that's kind of going on a similar journey to themselves. And that may have been the first time ever that they had met someone in the same position, right? So people were coming down from like Scotland and like afar, and like, you know, like it's like quite nice to see that happen. And we, as a brand, would love to do this more often and to do it offline. And then we do our bit online as well. Like so obviously, as we were saying, like lots of people do get so confused with the beauty makeup stuff. So we try and support them as much as possible by doing this service where you can send the selfie and then we kind of help you with everything you need on your face. And then it's quite nice because they feel then they sometimes come to us and they say, you know, I don't feel comfortable in my skin and stuff like that. And because we're a brand that maybe you feel confident saying that too, if that makes sense. Like it's sometimes nice people to get off their chest a bit and we can kind of help them with that. So then since like our platform online's grown like over time, like we've started to have conversations online that maybe most brands would avoid. So we do a lot of educational parts around the trans community and teaching people on kind of around, and because in the Jecca Blac team, we have people that like are representatives of the trans community. So we feel like we can speak about it in an authentic manner. And we're very strong. And I'm much of a believer in don't speak about us without us. And it's very important that actually when we're speaking about these topics and when we're educating, like we do it from the right place and the right person, and we have the right resources to get this information correct, right? So over time, this platform's grown for the great reasons of trying to build community and people like kind of meeting and speaking because they have the shared interest of supporting a brand that's got a very strong mission, I guess, and is quite loud and proud. So yeah.
Just real quick, I want to say that I love your proactive stances you're taking, getting out there, reaching out to the people. You're giving a lot of people hope that,
Thank you.
That there is something somewhere. They're not alone. And all the connectivity you have with people is so very important. And giving the confidence just by knowing people care.
Yeah.
It's this important. Is a beautiful thing that you're doing that I don't know of anyone around that does.
Yeah.
I commend you on this. This is just wonderful. You're touching so many thousands of people and changing lives.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
No, absolutely. Pipe in, Jennifer. Sorry, I'm just kind of on a roll here. So I know you travel quite a bit to France, and obviously you're London-based. Do you get a chance to? Do you have any understanding of the U.S., Margaret? I'm just kind of curious how you feel the acceptance is of the trans and cross-dressing community in London compared to the States. Do you have any?
I mean, so we work with Walmart, like I mentioned maybe earlier, and we have a few retailers actually in the US. And actually from day one, the US, we've always had like kind of a pull, like more of an organic kind of pull from there. It makes sense in some ways because some places of the States are, quite ahead, I guess, of being accepted and open-minded about this. But to compare London as a city of probably a population of 9 million to the whole of the States is quite difficult. But like, I would say that we see sales in certain parts of the US more than others. And we see following. So from like the kind of like East Coast and to the West Coast as well. Like, but maybe some places aren't as popular. Yeah.
So like California,
New York,
maybe LA area, or Atlanta, but Midwest, you don't really. Are you available in Walmarts in the Midwest or?
So we actually are online at the moment in Walmart. So actually they do like this free. So but it would be quite interesting if we were to roll out into in-store in the US, not necessarily just with Walmart, but with other retailers that we were speaking with before COVID, where they would actually put us, because this is something that they obviously have more knowledge and understanding than we do right now, because they obviously have this kind of the data in the stores to understand what is more popular in each store. But it's quite interesting to see where you kind of are more popular, and it's sometimes about the fact that we do like a collaboration with someone, and then we see an uplift in New York, for example. And so sometimes it is just about the areas that we focus on, because as a small brand, you do have to just focus on some areas and prioritize them over the whole of the US. Obviously, that's a huge market. So, we're just kind of also focusing on where we've got an organic pull from, because that makes sense for us right now.
Well, sure.
Can you
And
take
it's a very new brand. So
yeah,
that's understandable. Sorry, Jennifer.
I was just going to say, Jessica, if you can give us a few moments, tell us how our audience can get a hold of you, what website to go to, where to get your information. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, this is desperately needed.
Yeah. So we have a distribution center in the US. So the products do get sent out quite quickly to the US. So you can purchase and find out more. Our socials are Jecca Blac, so it's spelled JECCABLAC. And so that's our social, and then our website is jeccablac.com. So that's kind of where you'd find the information. And then this service I was kind of saying earlier, it's like sometimes if you're very new to the makeup journey, I would suggest sending a selfie, which is on our website. There's a tab, makeup advice, makeup help, and you send a selfie, and it's quite interesting to see what we come back with kind of details around what it was to you, because it's quite a nice service. I think it's free. It's quite nice to take advantage of these things sometimes and understand coloring and everything for yourself. I think it's nice consultation, and you can do that from anywhere. Obviously, you just need to take a photo of yourself.
Okay, Elizabeth, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking it's pretty revolutionary. I know that there are, in fact, it might even be L'Oreal that does something similar with like hair color, where you can contact a consultant about purchasing a hair dye, and like, I don't fit in. This is what I want from my hair color, and I'm, it doesn't just necessarily fit their little digital, app. But so I think it really is. That's really contemporary. It's very much on the pulse of like where technology is going with the makeup and hair industry. I think that's really cool. So, because you are a newer brand, tell us about some of the bumps that you've hit in the road. Because it sounds like, and early on you had some troubles when you're first starting out, and you're a relatively young woman. That I just think it's pretty amazing that where in the world did you get the confidence to start this and do this? Obviously you knew your field well, but not just everybody goes ahead and says, I'm going to start a makeup brand.
Yeah.
So
I guess with challenges, I would say that the product was maybe one of the first challenges that we had, and trying to find a supplier that suited. I guess I had really high expectations. Being in the makeup world, I was very picky with products, obviously, as a consumer. So when I came to make one, I was even fussier. So finding a supplier and actually working alongside a supplier is still actually an issue now. Like, suppliers are always it's a challenge sometimes. But I would say that was one of the first kind of hurdles that I had to overcome. But actually, I guess the main, I would say a challenge for a brand with such a strong kind of mission is for people maybe be distracted by an easier route. So I set out to do something that was quite kind of this mission to support this community, and obviously we have an approach that's makeup is gender free, so we don't obviously just concentrate on the trans community, but we are very strong in that domain. So sometimes it may have been a smoother journey to go down what every other makeup brand has done, which is cis women basically, and we were trying to always fight these kind of sometimes it's like difficult to stand for something so strong when you're so small. That's what I'm trying to say, basically, because some people would see it as, how do I grow the fastest? How do I get the most sales? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then that maybe is to do what everyone else has done. Whereas if you stand for something so kind of strong and trying to go against that all the time, then you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, if that makes sense, at the same time. So that's, I guess, was a challenge. But now we've found in the most recent months, like, we've done some really great partnerships and we're doing some really great things that actually I'm really confident that we've got this, and we want to be. I've obviously never wanted to change the mission. This is obviously why I did it. But in other words, like, I'm feeling more confident that people are understanding it, and we've got some really great, like, fans, I guess. And that's what makes it worth it, really. Because people are saying that you're doing great things, and that's great to hear, because actually so many brands could have tried out on something and not
Well, hey, we know all about niche markets. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
We are for cross-dressers, but we try to primarily support the straight cross-dresser. And so it's almost like a niche within a niche.
Yeah.
But, and it's because, yes, we feel like there's a lot of things for trans out there. And we do support our trans sisters, but we're cross-dressers. So we can understand. We get it. Niches are hard and it's slow growing, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, for sure. So that's great.
Jennifer, you have any other additional questions?
Well, I would like Jessica to take a couple minutes here, whatever you need, and look at the camera and address the cross-dressers out there, and tell them the Jecca Blac. By going to Jecca Blac, they're doing the right thing, because what they're going to get for themselves, as far as the relationship, the quality of your products, and the relationship with your company.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, basically a pitch, but no.
Well,
okay,
this is a summation. Sure. It's kind of a pitch.
Yeah,
yes,
of
I
course.
agree.
Yeah.
But I want something concise that we can help with.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Jecca Blac came from the trans community and the trans scene, and our brand and our products and the way that we portray our brands is always to help and support the trans community and to have an understanding of all makeup wearers. Therefore, Jecca Blac products are often solutions for the needs within the trans community. And we offer support as well by doing support consulting for makeup, but also our platforms online support and raise the voices of the trans community by setting awareness and educating people around the issues that the trans and the great things as well that the trans community have and face. I hope that helps. To find out more information, you can go on jeccablac.com or follow us on social media, Jecca Blac.
Yeah. And you can also go to Walmart on
so we're on
Walmart.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so walmart.com, we're on there.
Yeah. And you can get her products there.
Yeah, we can get the products there.
Yes. It's really a beautiful thing. And I love the way that you're centric towards the male side of things. You focus on the male, what the male needs, to bring out their feminine self.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of the great things that women have for women, and we try to figure that out for us, but you focus on us to work towards the feminine self.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
the
I
products.
love.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and you bring it down concise. You've got just the products and the variety of products, the quantity of products that the cross-dresser or trans person needs, without having to go and bust your budget and have a lot of stuff you throw away. You focus your money where it's needed, and you get results for it, and you show how to do it right.
Yeah. And that's why the makeup consulting, the free makeup consulting that we do, which was when you take a photo and send it to us, will help you reduce that even more, because our range is 20 products, right? But you may only need 4 or 5. So this is the great first step to take. And then we will help you discover what's suited for you without you having to figure out how to do it yourself. We are here and happy to help with that.
What I think is beautiful is that that's open to anyone. If you are an ally, if you are a spouse of a
of
cross-dresser,
course,
if you are trans, anybody, and it's a very welcoming environment. I think that's super cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love everything you're doing. And I want to thank you so very much for being on with us this evening. It's been a real pleasure. I have been really enthralled with you and what you're saying. I love your social responsibility all the way around. And you bring the goodness out in people, and you strive for that no matter where they are on the whole spectrums of all kind of life. You have this beautiful company here that is reaching out and helping so many people. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it is wonderful. And I just want to tell our subscribers to go down to the, lower right-hand corner and subscribe down there. We're going to be doing a Patreon episode in just a moment, and we highly recommend going to and becoming a Patreon member. We thank you very much for doing that. And we say thank you very much.
And Jecca Blackler will be back with us on Patreon with some cool makeup tips that you don't want to miss. So join Patreon.
Yes. And thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Good night.